The man, the last kicker, big time Bex herself, appeared on Steve Austin's Broken Skull sessions just now, and here are some of the things we learned. After becoming a mother for the first time, Lynch said that her life priorities totally changed. Her life before having the child was consumed by wrestling, and it was her only focus in life, to the point of actually causing anxiety. Now her child takes precedence over everything else. Going back to the very start, Lynch said she started wrestling at the age of 15. Before training, her life was going down the wrong path, but joining Finn Balor's wrestling school half an hour from her home in Ireland changed everything. Lynch made references to WWE Tough Enough, which was huge at the time, and expected the wrestling school to be just like that. It was totally the opposite apparently, with every student trying to look like the Hardy Boys. Lynch admitted that she herself was trying to imitate Lita with her look when she got into wrestling training for the first time. Despite the wrestling school not being anything like in Tough Enough, Lynch said that she carried the spirit of the participants on that show with her and was determined not to give up despite not being able to put one foot in front of the other and being awful between the ropes at the very start. Lynch said that her brother took to wrestling far easier, and she would practice with him at home and tag with him in mixed matches. She eventually attended summer camps in the UK. Lynch was consumed by wrestling even at that young, inexperienced age, and lived and breathed it while training. Lynch started travelling internationally to ply her trade, taking her to Japan and Canada. During a match against an inexperienced opponent, Lynch performed a suplex and accidentally landed on her head, causing a massive concussion. She admitted that she was trying to run before she could walk, and after landing in the US, she had a crisis of confidence. Due to the injury, Lynch lost her faith in wrestling, and she called her mom back home asking if she could come back, but her mom told her that she'd made her bed so she had to lie in it. Becky decided to leave the wrestling business and wouldn't return for 7 years. In that time, she became a flight attendant, a personal trainer, and an English teacher, all the time knowing in the back of her mind that she wanted back into the wrestling business at some point. Lynch was doing an acting course when she heard of Finn Balor's huge success in Japan, leading her to question what her own life might have been like if she continued down the wrestling path. After a tryout with WWE, Lynch knew that wrestling was still the career for her. She was born to wrestle. In spite of this, Lynch admitted that she initially found the NXT experience to be awful. Many people in NXT at the time recognised Lynch from her earlier career, including Paige, and they talked her up to the management. Lynch had lost all of her confidence in the interim and felt that this was more of a detriment than a help, and led to her holding back a lot during her time in NXT so as not to seem too big for her boots. All of the newcomers around Lynch were getting promoted before her, but despite being awful, she knew she had a great connection with the fans. Fast forwarding to when she won the SmackDown Women's title, Lynch said that she felt it was the fans that got her there in the first place by chanting her name, rather than the office deciding to push her. Despite winning the belt, Lynch felt that she was lost in the shuffle. When she asked John Cena for advice, he told her that she needed more character. He didn't know who she was. Lynch was using the steampunk costume at the time, but she admitted that wasn't really a character. Later, when she was using the Man moniker, Cena told her that now he knew who she was, she'd found her identity. Lynch believes that the moment she attacked Charlotte Flair after their match at SummerSlam was when she truly got her edge, and the subsequent promo on SmackDown was the time that she arrived. Walking away from the business when she was pregnant was the hardest thing Lynch had to do in the business, but it helped that there was no crowd there due to the pandemic. She purposefully stayed out of the spotlight during that time, looking forward to the huge pop she was going to get when she did eventually come back. Lynch said that to some degree she has freedom with her promos, but admitted that Vince is very set in his ways, so she still has to do the rounds to try and get things her own way. Promos are apparently Lynch's favourite part of wrestling, and she's always thinking of promos in her head and writing her ideas down in her phone for later use. Despite being the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, Lynch said that she felt it was a title reign that was hard to maintain as a babyface, and actually lobbied to lose the belt as she felt she was better in the chase. She later said that she was enjoying being a heel way more than being a face, as she can get away with doing whatever she wants without the fear of being hated. On her rivalry with Flair, Lynch admitted that she lost her head during the infamous title swap segment. She said that while there is animosity between herself and Flair, she hopes that they can get back to being friends when they've both retired. Either way, she has to agree that them both, along with the other horsewomen, changed the wrestling game for women forever.